Now tell me, what's your target audience? What's the most profitable industry for your business model? Exactly, this is the answer of the majority of entrepreneurs and marketing managers of small businesses. They never identify the best market segment and target audience for their business. So welcome to my 5th digital marketing lesson, and today I will talk about market segmentation. I'm gonna explain you what market segmentation means. We will go through the market segmentation criteria and schemes, and we will see all the segmentation strategies. According to my professional experience, generally, entrepreneurs try to sell their product or service to anyone, but it's impossible to serve effectively a large and broad market, because every group of consumers has different needs and wants. The challenge of marketers is to find out what makes a market segment different and unique. In fact, marketing and management of Kotler and Keller says identifying and satisfying the right market segments is often the key to marketing success. But what actually is a market segment? A market segment is represented by a group of consumers that have similar needs and wants. That's why companies should focus only on the industry that they have the greatest chance of satisfying. A good market segment should have 4 characteristics. It should be identifiable. It means that you should be able to describe it according to descriptive characteristics, that they are geographic, demographic and psychographic, but we will deepen them later. Or you should describe it with behavioral considerations, like consumer responses to benefits, usage occasions or brands. Besides, applying distinct marketing mix to the same market segment should lead to different outcomes. The second trait of a good market segment is that it should be accessible. For example, if you are an Iranian manufacturer of blank tapes and CDs and you want to export your products into the US, the market wouldn't be accessible, because according to the US Customs and Borders Protection, blank tapes and CDs from Iran, Cuba, Burma or Sudan are banned in the territory of the United States. A market segment should be also substantial. It means that it should be large enough to allow companies to make profits. Finally, the last characteristic is that it should be measurable. Companies must be able to understand their market share and position in the industry, as well as the segment size and the purchasing power. So what's the outcome in market segmentation? Why companies should waste their time to divide the market? The first reason is that market segmentation allows business to discover opportunities and better understand their target audience. If they are able to identify different groups of consumers, they can personalize the marketing mix. I won't talk about the marketing mix today. I will shoot another video later where I will deepen it. You just need to know that Jerome McCarthy in 1960 elaborated the 7 P's marketing mix, which elements are product, price, placement, promotion, people, process, and physical evidence. If companies are able to personalize all of these elements for different group of consumers, they can offer products or services for specific needs and wants. And of course, it will determine an increase of sales. On the other hand, segmentation has some drawbacks. For instance, it can increase marketing costs, because of course, if you want to advertise and communicate your message to different group of consumers, you need to split the budget and use it for different marketing campaigns. Besides, the continued personalization can lead to a proliferation of products, and it can cause bottlenecks managing inventories and processes. Another risk that raised in these years is connected to privacy sensitivity. The more a company tailors a product or service, the more it needs data to shape consumers' traits and preferences. And here is the risk to violate privacy rights. So we understood that market segmentation is generally good, but marketers have to play with the trade-off of its cons and pros. What are the schemes or the criteria that allow marketers to segment a market? The first is the geographical criterion. It is very useful for local businesses because it takes into consideration local communities and targets consumers according to a specific geographical area. So you will be able to divide the industry according to the country, region, city or suburbs, or climate. An interesting marketing strategy related to geographic segmentation is grassroots marketing. Companies target their message to a very small group of individuals, expecting them to spread it to a much larger audience. That's why grassroots, because it starts from the ground up. It is also cost effective because smaller campaigns allow you to focus the budget and the effort. Nevertheless, some marketers raised some concerns about this segmentation technique. They say that geographic segmentation increases manufacturing costs, reduces scale economies, and magnifies logistical problems. Besides, brand perception can be compromised if different communities receive different products and message. But of course, also here you have a trade-off, so it's up to the company to decide how to manage their activities. The second scheme is demographic segmentation, and it's also the easiest one to perform. It is very interesting because it usually aggregates people who are reachable with the same communication channel. Because people from different generations, they usually use the same media. Some examples of its variables can be age, gender, job position, employment status, income, family, social class. Wants and abilities also develop with aging. So for example, toothpaste firms developed 3 lines of products. One to target kids, the second to target adults, and the last one to target elders. Instead, Pampers deepen further this demographic segmentation. In fact, they have divided the market into prenatal, newborn babies, toddlers, and preschoolers. A drawback of marketing based on life cycle is that some people are psychologically young, so it can be tricky. For example, Toyota recently launched a series of marketing campaigns to the new generations, but those who responded were baby boomers because they watched the advertisement and they felt young inside. A better way to segment the market instead is according to life stage, which represents people's major concerns. Great events like a decision to buy a house or to live with a roommate, or people who go through a divorce or maybe a new marriage, they represent great opportunities for marketers. Marketers can seize them to help customers cope with their concerns. Gender is also crucial because men and women have different behaviors and attitudes. You can also divide people according to their income, but usually it doesn't reflect the real customer for a given product. For example, when color television came out, workmen were the first to buy it because it was still cheaper than going to the restaurant or to the cinema. But consumers in the same demographic group can present different psychographic traits. So here is the psychographic criterion. This science divides individuals according to personality, aptitude, values, or lifestyle. One of the most successful classification systems based on psychographic criteria is the VALS framework from Strategic Business Insight. After responding a survey, people are classifying in 8 groups. So let's understand how VALS framework works. It has mainly 2 dimensions: consumer motivation, and it represents the horizontal values, and consumer resources, the vertical ones. People's resources are represented by key demographics and personality traits. So the 4 groups with the higher resources are innovators, outstanding, refined, active, confident people who are not afraid to lead. They have sophisticated tastes and value high-end niche products or services. Thinkers, full-grown, fulfilled, and contemplative people inspired by values, order, knowledge, and responsibility. Their ideal product must be durable and functional. Achievers, individuals with a goal-oriented mindset who pursue a successful career and take care of their family. They prefer upscale products to exhibit success to their peers. Experiencers, young, passionate, spontaneous people who look for variety and adventure. They are willing to spend money on fashion, entertainment, and social activities. And now I'm gonna read you the remaining 4 groups with low resources. Believers, traditional, ordinary people with solid beliefs. They prefer local products and are loyal to brands which they are familiar with. Strivers, fashionable and outgoing consumers with limited financial resources. They prefer trendy imitations of high-end products. Makers, realistic, concrete, self-sustaining people who like to work with their hands. They search for local products with a practical or functional purpose. Survivors, quiet elders afraid of a change and loyal to their favorite firms. You can also take the survey on the Strategic Business Insights website. I put the link in the description below of the US VALS because this survey vary according to the culture of a people. So if you are coming from a different country, you should search in the website the related VALS test. You can discover your VALS type and then come back here and check the explanation of your result. Another segmentation scheme is represented by the behavioral criterion. People have different attitudes and expectations from the same product or service. So behavioral segmentation allows you to divide the groups of consumers according to use, loyalty, and buyer readiness. Instead, another technique allows you to segment the market according to the benefits sought, like discounts, purchasing time, or specific service. The behavioral criterion allows you to find out clusters of consumers according to their role that they play during the buying decision. And there are mainly 4 rules: initiator, influencer, decider, buyer, and user. So let's say that Jane is trying to organize the birthday party of her son, Alex, and she tells to her husband, "Hey Mark, why don't you buy a video game for your son?" So she's now the initiator. Later, Mark visits Alex's friends to understand the trends in the video game industry and maybe figure out the best choice for his son. So here is that Alex's friends represent the influencers. At the end, Mark buys this video game. So here is the buyer. And this video game was so good that not only Alex was playing it, but also his brother. And they represent the users. Another example is a Super Mario Bros. For mobile phone. The target audience is represented by children, but the buyer is represented by the parents. So marketers have to take into consideration all these aspects. Now I want to deepen buyer readiness because it's very important, above all for a digital marketer, since digital marketing activities are usually based on funnels, and funnels take into consideration the different stage of buyer's awareness. So in this image, the 2 marketing funnel examples have different conversion rates. The funnel of brand B performs better than brand A. Marketers can use this intel to understand when customers drop and optimize every stage of buyer readiness. So if you're a marketing manager in your company, it's very useful that you draw a scheme like this one so you can visually understand the path that a buyer has to do from the beginning, from the first contact of your company till the end. The last criterion is a situational segmentation. It allows to divide groups of consumers according to the occasion of a product or service usage. For example, an air travel is connected to business or family visit or vacation. A situational segmentation helps marketers to understand other fields where the product can be used. And the main key points are time dedicated to the purchase, social circumstances, physical circumstances, and reasons for buying. And it's not done. So now you know the different segmentation criteria or schemes, but what segmentation strategy will you use? So when you evaluate a market segment, usually you take into consideration 2 main factors: the attractiveness of an industry, and you mainly understand the profitability of a market or the attractiveness of a market using Porter's 5 forces analysis. And if you are interested in this topic, I shot already a video, you can just find it in my channel. The second consideration is on companies' objectives and assets. Only in this way marketers can identify the best segment and target audience. In this image, I gather the 4 main segmentation strategies that marketers can apply. So now I'm going to explain them one by one. The full market coverage or the undifferentiated segmentation strategy applies one single marketing mix to the entire market. It means that a business tries to serve all consumers groups with all the products and services that they might need. So with mass marketing, a company goes after the market with only one offer without considering the differences in a segment. And of course, it requires a huge capital. That's why only Usually only big corporations apply this approach, like Coca-Cola, General Motors, Microsoft, and so on. So a full coverage approach is appropriate when consumers' preferences are not relevant and there aren't natural segments in the market. The undifferentiated strategy usually leads to standardization, and it means lower manufacturing costs or higher margins. Nevertheless, the proliferation of communication channels, above all nowadays, that there are thousands of social media channels, internet, TV, radio, and so on, it can be very expensive to reach a mass audience. The second strategy is the differentiated segmentation strategy, or multiple segment specialization. A business can specialize in a product or a service and sell it to different segments that they have similar traits. For instance, smartphones manufacturers don't target only people who want to communicate, so make calls or send text messages, but also enthusiasts of photography and music. Just think of the super powerful cameras that they have or the speakers. Multiple segment specialization works also in reverse, so a company can focus on a single market segment and serve multiple needs of a single group of consumers. This segmentation strategy requires companies to apply a different marketing mix per each market segment, and also allows them to diversify risks. The single segment concentration or concentrated segmentation strategy is when companies specialize in a specific market and they become experts in that industry. They apply a single marketing mix for the whole market segment, and they acquire such a deep knowledge of the niche that they can easily gain a strong presence in the market. Finally, thanks to artificial intelligence and machine learning, we can create a totally personalized purchasing experience. And this is individual marketing or one-to-one marketing. For example, HubSpot clients are able to create totally tailored web pages according to the specific prospect that visited the website during a certain time. Another example is represented by all of the interface platforms, tools that allow customers to personalize their product or service. However, this approach is very difficult because not all products or service can be personalized, and the price can raise too much so that the customer is not willing to pay for it anymore. One mistake made by many digital marketing managers is that they misunderstood the personalization. That's why I want to end this lesson with this quote. Personalization, it is not about first, last name, it's about relevant content. And the author was Dan Jack, the head of email and SMS at the British Gas. So after this long lesson, I hope that you understood what segmentation strategy is and how to do it. So tell me in the comments below what segmentation strategy is your company adopting, and what are the challenges that you had to overcome to compete in your industry. It will be very useful also for other readers. So please, I can't wait to know your experience in the comments below. Push the like button if you like this video and subscribe to this channel. Every week I come up with a digital marketing lesson. Thank you for watching and see you soon.